Good night, all. We are the members of Group 4, Natoina Clark, Tunisia Kurt, Parvati Dani, Letitia, Lolita Crandon, Tricia Cummins, Devendra Das, Tanika Dolivore, Lisa DeAndre. So our topic we'll be dealing with is feminism. Below, you'll find the terms and definitions and all the areas that we'll be dealing with. Definition for feminism, history of feminism, different approaches in feminism, social justice, and critical perspective on feminism, achievements, the role of feminists today, and also we'll be having a conclusion. Okay, feminism is a social, political, and cultural movement aimed at achieving equality between genders, particularly by addressing and dismantling systems of patriarchy and sexism that have historically marginalized women and other gender minorities. Over the years, there have been many different approaches to feminism, which all strives towards attaining equality for women, whether by advocating for legal and political reforms, advocacy, or even through the reshaping of societal norms. Feminism has and continues to play a crucial role in the advancement of women's rights, empowerment, and increased awareness of societal issues such as domestic violence, sexual harassment, and gender discrimination.
What is feminism? Feminism, at its core, is the belief in the advocacy for political, economic, social, and cultural equality between the genders. It challenges system of patriarchy that have historically marginalized women, and seek to dismantle gender-based disparities. As Bell Hooks 2000 asserts, in feminism is for everybody. Feminism is not anti-male, but rather pro-justice and equality, emphasizing inclusivity and collaboration in the pursuit of societal betterment.
History of feminism, origins and early movements. The root of feminism can be traced back to the Enlightenment era, 18th century, where intellectual movements emphasized reason, liberty, and individual rights. Early feminists, such as Mary Wollstonecraft, laid the groundwork for feminist thought in her seminal work, A Vindication of Rights of Women, 1792. Wollstonecraft argued for women's access to education to achieve equality with men, Tong, 2009. The first wave of feminism emerging in the 19th and 20th centuries focused primarily on legal inequalities. Activists fought for women's suffrage, property rights, and access to education. The Seneca Falls Convention of 1848 marked a pivotal moment where Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Lucretia Mott presented the Declaration of Sentiments, demanding equal social and political rights for women. Du Bois, 1998. This wave culminated in significant achievements, such as the 19th Amendment in the United States, granting women the rights to vote in 1920. The second wave, expanding the agenda. The second wave of feminism emerged in the 1960s and 1970s, focusing on systemic oppression and cultural norms inspired by Simone de Beauvoir, the second sex. During this period, feminist activism focused on workplace discrimination, reproductive rights, and domestic violence. Betty Friedan's book, The Feminine Mystique, exposed women's dissatisfaction and led to legal reforms like the Equal Play Act and Title IX, Fem IX. Feminists of color critique mainstream feminism, expanding its inclusivity. The third wave, embracing diversity. The 1990s saw the third wave of feminism, characterized by diversity, intersectionality, and the rejection of universal definition of womanhood, argued by Judith Butler. Third wave. The third wave feminists use popular culture as a platform for resistance, reclaiming femininity and sexuality through royal grill culture. This movement challenged sexism and LGBTQ plus issue, but faced criticism for its fragmented nature and individualism. The fourth wave, digital activism and global reach. The fourth wave of feminism, originating in the 2010s, used digital platforms to mobilize activism and address global issues like sexual harassment and violence, emphasizing intersectionality and marginalized groups like women of color, trans women, and disabled women. Critics argue the fourth wave of digital activism, while potentially promoting performative allyship, has significantly evolved feminist activism by reaching a global audience and fostering solidarity. Gill and Allgard, 2018.
Different approaches in feminism. Now here you'll find the different approaches in feminism. They are as follows: the liberal feminism, radical feminism, Marxist feminism, socialist feminism, intersectional feminism, and cultural feminism. So I'll be looking at the first three approaches. Now, just to leave with you, feminism encompasses a variety of movements and ideologies, each with its own focus and goals. Now, some prominent types of feminism would include, as I mentioned before, the same liberal feminism. Now, this basically advocates for women's equality through legal reforms and policy changes, emphasizing individual rights and opportunities. So basically, here you'll find the focus point is where equal opportunities in education, work, and politics, even elimination of discriminatory laws and policies, individual rights and, and personal freedoms. We also have key beliefs such as the gender inequality, which basically results from outdated social and legal norms. I have about two examples: the Equal Pay of Act of the 1963 in the United States, which aimed to eliminate wage disparity based on gender. And another would be they had continued campaigns like the Equal Pay Day to raise awareness about the gender pay gap and push for wage transparency. Moving on to the radical feminism. Now here, it seeks to address the root causes of women's oppression by challenging patriar patri patriarchy structures and advocating for fundamental societal changes. Now here, we will find the focus area again. Now, the reproductive rights. This is where they advocate for women's control over their own bodies, including access to contraception and abortion. Not only that, sexual violence. This here is where it would address issues like rape, domestic violence again, and sexual harassment, viewing them as tools. And we also have examples here for the radical. It will take us back to like the night marches, which began in the 1970s. It aims to combat sexual violence and reclaim public spaces for women. Another example, they were saying that it protests against pornography and its role in perpetuating violence against women, as led by figures like Andrea Dworkin. So our next feminism would be the Marxist feminism. Now, this here, it examines the intersection of capitalism and patriarchy, arguing that economic structures contribute to women's oppression and advocating for a socialist approach to equality. Now, for this, here the example would be, let me leave here an example, the wages for housework movement. That would be in the 1970s, led by the feminist thinkers like Sylvia Federici, argued that women's unpaid labor in the home contributes to economy and should be compensated. Now, there was an explanation as well. Now, this movement would have highlighted how capitalism depends on women's unpaid work to sustain the labor force.
Socialist feminism. Socialist feminism is a feminism perspective that links women's oppression to both patriarchy and capitalism, arguing that gender and class inequalities are deeply interconnected. It critiques capitalism for exploiting women's underpaid domestic labor and undervaluing their paid work while reinforcing patriarchal norms. Intersectional feminism. This approach focuses at how various aspects of identity like race, class, and gender overlap to create unique experience of inequality. Key points to note under intersectional feminism are: 1. Recognizes that traditional feminism often overlook women from marginalized groups. 2. Advocate for an inclusive approach to fight discrimination. And 3. Aims to address interconnected system of oppression. Cultural feminism. This feminism mainly focuses on the unique qualities, values, and experience of women. Key points to note under cultural feminism are: 1. Women's traits like empathy and nurturing should be celebrated. For instance, a male teacher might use her natural empathy to connect with her students, understanding individual needs and create a supportive learning environment. This nurturing approach helps students feel valued and boosts their confidence, showing the positive impact of traditional feminine traits in shaping a better future. 2. Differences between men and women, whether biological or social, deserve recognition. For example, women in the workplace should be granted maternity leave. Biological difference means women carry and give birth to children. So maternity leave acknowledges this reality and provides the necessary time for recovery and bonding with the baby. 3. Promotes creating women-centered space, free from patriarchal. For example, the establishment of women's only co-working space or supporting groups. These spaces provide a safe and empowering environment where women can network, collaborate, and share experiences without fear of judgment or discrimination.
Social justice and critical perspective on feminism. Social justice has a profound impact on the political, culture, and economic sphere in societies. Pros: advancement of women's rights. Feminism has played a critical role in surging legal rights for women, including voting rights, reproductive rights, and working place protection. Increasing awareness. Feminism movements have raised awareness about issues such as domestic violence, sexual harassment, and gender discrimination, leading to social changes and policy reforms. Empowerment. Feminism empowers women to change social norms and pursue the ambition, fostering a sense of agency and self awareness. Cons: misinterpretation. Feminism is sometimes misinterpreted as anti male, leading to backlash and resistance from one's individuals who feel threatened by the movement. Fragmentation. The diversity of feminism ideological can lead to fragmentation and discrimination within the movement, political, its effectiveness. Cultural resistance. In some societies, feminism ideas face significant cultural resistance, making it challenges to implement changes and achieve equality.
Achievements. Feminism has profoundly transformed societies worldwide. Key accomplishments include legal reforms, economic advancements, and cultural shift. Legal reform. No, this achievement emphasizes how specific laws like Title X and broader international movement have been pivotal in advancing women's rights and embedding gender equality as a fundamental principle in law and society. Economic advancement. This achievement highlights the positive trend in women's economic development, including their growing presence in the workforce and effort to achieve pay equity. These achievements contribute to greater gender equality and have broader societal and economic benefits, such as higher family income and more diverse leadership. Cultural shift. This achievement highlights how societal changes are creating opportunities for women to excel in media, politics, and leadership, positively impacting cultural perceptions of gender roles.
Roles of feminism today. Here we have 4 roles. Firstly, be adaptive and inclusive. Feminism today must be adaptive, recognizing and addressing the diverse experiences of women from different backgrounds, including race, class, and gender identity. 2, challenge societal structures. Feminism actively works to change societal systems that perpetuate inequality, like the gender wage gap or lack of women in leadership. 3, continue to raise awareness. Feminism raises awareness about important issues such as reproductive rights, gender-based violence, and discrimination. For example, feminist organizations work on educating the public about reproductive rights by leading campaigns for access to safe abortion services, ensuring women have control over their own bodies and choices. Finally, be empathetic. Feminism supports and understands the unique challenges that different groups of women face, fostering unity and collective action. Conclusion: as women, we have shared responsibilities to uphold the principles of feminism, supporting one another while advocating for systematic reforms. As Margaret Mead famously stated, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Feminism is not merely a movement, but a way of envisioning a just and equitable world where everyone strives. That brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you.